Today I will be presenting a presentation based on raising awareness for mental health, more specifically the mental health illness of depression. We will go over the basics of depression, the overall causes of depression, the effects it can have on our life and others around us, the solution, if any, to this mental illness, and the references I've used to make this presentation. So, let's start off with the basics. Did you know that 16.2 million adults in the United States, or that's 6.7% of adults, have at least one major depressive episode in a given year? It has been shown that there are 6 different types of depression that can be identified, and all 6 of these can result in some sort of depressive episode. They include a major depressive disorder, a persistent depressive disorder, a bipolar disorder, a seasonal depression, postpartum depression, and psychotic depression. All 6 have one thing in common, that they can be identified in different ways and different symptoms. The major depressive disorder is something that lasts for a big period of time. That's 3 months or more. A persistent depressive disorder may be something that somebody feels each day. A bipolar disorder, which may seem more familiar to some, is where a person may feel depressed and feel different personality switches. Seasonal depression can feel like it lasts for an entire season in somebody's life, as it will come and go within a time frame of about 4 months. Postpartum depression is more commonly linked with postpartum pregnancy after a woman delivers, and psychotic depression is normally linked when somebody will need to receive some sort of therapy or medication linked to their depression. As I mentioned before, each of these can have their own side effects. They can be identified in different ways, and they can all have a solution. In the corner I've added a photo for a 24/7 helpline. This is not a suicide hotline number, but in the time that we are in right now with a pandemic going on, this is a number that can help anybody who may be feeling depressed, angry, stressful, fearful, anxious, or alone in these times of COVID. The next part we will cover is the cause. There are very many different myths out there of what actually causes the mental illness of depression. Many of the myths often lead to one to think that it is an illness that results from a dramatic event or an individual's self-esteem. It may be more common than not now for somebody to hear that, oh man, maybe somebody is depressed in that situation based on a dramatic life event that happened. That could be a death or a loss of a relationship or something similar, etc. But it has been proven that with clinical depression that is diagnosed, a person often feels unhappy without a reason. They are not able to truly identify why they are depressed or even sad. Even if they have what others consider to be an easy or a good life, it is actually due to a brain chemistry and imbalance in their hormones and risk factors. Let's go over the effects. The overall effect of depression can vary depending on each individual. There are some symptoms that will linger on, and for others they may be symptoms that are very short-lived. The most common effects of depression may be extreme irritability over seemingly minor things, anxiety and restlessness feelings, trouble with anger management, a loss of interest in activities including sex, fixation on the past or on things that have gone wrong, and thoughts of death or suicide. It is more common than not that depression is linked to thoughts of suicide. In the corner I've added a photo of stress management ways. These are practical ways to reduce stress levels within somebody's feelings. It may include activities such as listening to an individual's favorite music, meditating, maybe buying something small that makes them happy, or reading a couple pages of a book. There are many other ways to be able to solve depression, whether that be temporary or permanently. So what is the solution, if there is any? There have been several proven factors that contribute to depression, but more solutions to the mental illness than not. Some of the solutions may include short-term therapies, exercise, medication, meditation, or support groups. In my personal opinion, a support group would be a great way to be able to somehow start solving somebody's depression. In 2021, we started the nonprofit organization of Decrease the Depression. It was a weekly support group that is designed for young teens and adults who are experiencing signs of depression. It is originally focused on the University of Tulsa within Tulsa, Oklahoma, but we have now expanded to different areas of the state. If you or somebody you know is experiencing any sort of symptoms of depression, it is very important to seek out this assistance immediately. Like I mentioned, this group began in 2021, earlier in the year, but after the support group began within 3 to 4 months, it was shown that 75% of those young teens and adults who had been attending had been able to not only identify their symptoms better, but to find a better personalized solution for their own mental health. On the last page, I have a list of my references that I've used to create this presentation, and last but not least, remind those to support. It's very important to reach out to those who may be feeling symptoms and signs of depression. Like I mentioned previously in the presentation, depression is strongly linked to thoughts of suicide. If you or anyone you know is showing signs of depression or thoughts of suicide, you can contact the suicide hotline at 24/7 at 1-800-273-8255. Thank you so much for watching my presentation.